I'd argue that there are three eras of DeLorean ownership. And I made a chart uh, through I did this through computer modeling. It cost me about $6,000 to make this. Ignore this up here. My 4-year-old did that. I'm not sure what that is. It could be a vagina. I don't know. He might be regretting leaving it and the world we're making for him. I don't blame him. It might be a weapon to kill me with later. You never know. So the first era of DeLorean ownership, I would say, went from 1981 to about 1997. And so these are the original owners, the rich guys, the yuppies, the successful dentists, lawyers, and accountants. And during that era, it wasn't quite like today. There wasn't the disparity that there is today, even though that was a heck of a lot of money. Rich people back then in the 70s and 80s, you know, they might have had the better house. They had a DeLorean or a Mercedes. Their kids went on vacations. Their kids went to private school, but they still lived in the same general area you did. They might live in the same neighborhood you did. They just had all the extras. These days, of course, they live in their own zip code, and their kids go to schools that will enforce the appropriate message and make sure that they get elected to office and espouse things that are beneficial to them and suck for everybody else. So, yeah, there's going to be more Bushes and Obamas and Clintons and yeah, it's just the way it is because Americans are stupid. And so we're going to keep on perpetuating that. Anyway, so that went all the way to about the turn of the millennium. And then you have this second crowd come in. That'd be people like me, because we saw these cars rolling around the neighborhood and the rich people were done with them. Their kids didn't want them. They wanted new Navigators. And so that's what they got. And the embarrassing old car was sold to a nerd like me who just loved it for what it was. And I'd say during that era, a lot of them were maybe improperly dealt with. And I improperly dealt with mine by carbureting it, but I don't regret it one bit. But it was more for fun, and it was for a hobby. And that's what it remains for me. And so those cars traded hands a lot, and you saw them starting to show up on even used car lots, and they were commanding far less. They were commanding $10,000-ish at some point around the turn of the millennium. So in through the gateway came the hoi polloi like myself, and you know, some of us are still hanging on. But we've entered the third era of DeLorean ownership, and that is, I'd say, goes to about 2017, thereabouts. And you see the symptoms of the rising prices, idiots that want time machines done to a very high level. It's become a plaything of rich Silicon Valley types and people with money to burn that maybe the car wasn't even on their radar until they made their bones, and then they saw one at a car show, and so they start bidding them up. That's where we are. And that's fine. It's full circle. That's all. So the masters of the universe will start acquiring these cars once again until they get tired of them, and we go through the cycle all over again. So I have to end these videos with some sort of dumb catchphrase. I'm Sam Hill. I'm right. You're wrong. And of course, your mom's really wrong.